Good morning. Welcome to Old Fine Sand. I'm Jan, and it's Sunday morning, my favorite morning, Sunday, and I'm happy you're with me. So, today I wanted to share with you, we're going to be talking about the three poisons that the Buddha talked about, but today we'll cover the first one, okay? And then in the following weeks we'll get the last two. But these poisons can really influence our life and not in a good way. So the first one is greed. Now, you may think immediately of greed wanting more money, power, more status. There are other types of greed as well. Those are greeds for sure. But going deeper, sometimes we want more praise from people, right? We want to hear praise. Sometimes we want more of the life that we want, that it's not unfolding in the way that we want it. So we're very greedy about that. We keep chasing after that because it's not right yet. It's just so he's talking about the kind of greed that gives you the feeling that something is missing, that you need to get something more, something else. And this kind of greed steals your happiness because you're always looking for something else. You can't be happy with what you have. It's always this feeling. It's a heavy feeling. It's anxiety feeling. But if you look around, no matter what's happening to you, there are lots of things that you do have. So the practice is to zoom in when you find yourself going off on, I need this, I need that, I'm not going to be happy till I get it, I won't be happy till I go there, I won't be happy. When you find yourself doing that, because we do that, don't we? Yeah. When you find yourself going there, catch it. Bring your awareness to that. Oh, I'm doing that. Stop, pause, look around. Look around. Do you have a roof over your head? A lot of people don't. Do you have food in your belly, in your refrigerator? A lot of people don't. Do you have clothes on your back to protect you from the elements? A lot of people don't. And recognize all the things you do have. Now, the Buddha he didn't say, don't strive for the things you want. He didn't say that. He said to keep it in perspective. Aspirations are good. You aspire for something. Healthy aspirations, not the greedy kind. And you know, in our culture right now with social media and all that, it's all about how many people watch me, how many people like me, how many thumbs up do I get, right? And you can get sucked into that. You can just like, oh yeah, that's what it's about. Oh, and people will help you do that too. They'll say, oh, how many likes do you have? Oh, how many subscribers do you have? Because they're sucked into that. And it's not their fault. It's just that we can change that for ourselves. And when we change it for ourselves, we not only make our life happier, we affect other people. See, it's not just you that you're helping. The people around you will be helped because it'll be different for you. And maybe you can help someone. You say, hey, that's not really important. That's not really what happiness is about. So you practice everything I talk about is about practicing. You can't just listen. You can't just read a book and say, I got it, and then not go out and practice. You have to. And I know it's not, a lot of people don't like to practice, but boy, watch your life change. Not in totality, watch your day change, because that's all we have. That's all we have is this moment. Watch this moment change. You know, you look outside, you see the sun or you see a bird, and you know, a lot of people can't see the sun. A lot of people can't see the bird or hear the bird. So enjoy those moments more, and you will be stepping away from that greedy feeling that you just don't have enough. And your life will be different. It will be different totally. You'll see, you'll notice. I lived in Kansas City for a few years. And my husband at the time and I bought this house, and it was a big house. This is a story, so you might want to settle in for a minute. We bought a big house because you could buy a big house there, much cheaper than where I live now. And all this furniture came with it, and a baby grand piano, because the people that were moving out, that were selling, didn't want to haul it with them. They were retiring. Anyway, we got this piano. Beautiful. And then after a few years, we were moving back. We were leaving. We couldn't take all this stuff with us, all the furniture, because we weren't going to live in a big house like that. So we had an estate sale, and it was all set. Took weeks to get it all prepared. And the morning of the estate sale, it was about 7, and it wasn't supposed to start till 8. And this man drove up, and he got out of his car, and he kind of swaggered over to me as I'm preparing things. And I say swaggered because he just had this swagger, and he didn't have socks on. For some reason, I remember that. He had these fancy shoes on with no socks, which is kind of an LA vibe, really. So I'll never forget that. I didn't, I didn't really care for him, to put it mildly. So he walks up to me, he goes, "So, I hear you have a piano for sale. I'd like to know what you're asking for it." And I said, "You know, I haven't put a price on it yet." He goes, "You haven't?" I said, "No, well, we don't start till 8. If you want to come back at 8, I'll have it. I'll have a price on it." He said, "All right, well, I really would like that piano, and I'd like to look at it." I said, "Well, come back at 8. And so he left. And so 8 o'clock came, and he hadn't returned yet. And people were coming in. And this man who was like in his 40s came in, and he had his son who was about 8 or 9 with him. And so they're just kind of looking around. And I guess he didn't know we had a piano for sale. He goes, "Is that for sale?" I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Oh." He goes, "I'm a pastor at the church down the street, and this is my son." He introduced him. And he goes, "Could he try it out, my son?" I said, "Of course." And so, and the son was really excited. So he went over, we all went over, and the little boy sat down and started to play really beautifully. I said, "Oh, he's a beautiful player." He goes, "Well, he plays and I play in the church. But we have this really old piano. And I know we can't afford this, but it's just kind of fun to let him play." And I said, "Oh, yeah, okay." And he goes, "Well, how much are you asking for this piano?" And I looked at him, and I thought of that man who was going to be coming in any moment. And I said, $1. And he looked at me, he said, "What?" I said, $1. I'll take $1 for it. And the little boy looked at me, and he looked at me, he goes, "You're serious?" I said, "Yeah. If you have $1, I'll sell you the piano, but you have to move it out because I'm not going to move it." He said, "Oh my, I've got to call my wife." And he gets his phone out and he calls his wife, and I can hear her. And he goes, honey, you won't believe this. This woman at an estate sale selling me this piano for $1. I heard her kind of go, oh. And so he got the piano. And that other man swaggered in about 8:30, swaggered in, and I had put sold on it. And he goes, you sold the piano? I said, yeah. And he goes, I can't believe it. You knew I was interested. I said, sorry, somebody else came. And he wanted to know what I sold it for. I didn't tell him. I just said, I'm sorry, it was sold. Somebody came and wanted it. Now, I could have been greedy. I could have gotten a lot of money. And it wasn't like I didn't need the money. I did. But to give, to sell that piano to that man and his son was like, and to this day, I remember it so clearly. And it was one of the best things I ever did. So I'm not telling you this to pat myself on the back. I'm telling you this as an example to let go of the greed. Be happy with what you have, even if it's not perfect. You have today. You have your breath. Okay, story is over. Let's meditate on that. So get comfortable. Settle in. I can see my dog laying over by the sliding door. He might get up at any time, but don't let it bother you. Close your eyes, lower your head, or lie down. We want to open up our mind a little bit and let this teaching take hold. Today we reflect upon the first of the 3 poisons described by the Buddha: greed, craving, the endless reaching for more. Gently close your eyes if you'd wish and take in a slow breath and a slow breath out. Allow your shoulders to lower and soften. Allow your belly to relax. Breathing in, feel your breath. Breathing out. Just feel that simple miracle of breathing itself. Allow your jaw to soften, your hands, your feet to relax. We're here, nothing to achieve, nothing to acquire, nothing to become. Just this breath and just this moment. The eyes are softly closed. The Buddha observed that much of our suffering comes from that feeling that something is missing. And we tell ourselves, when I have more money, I will relax. When I receive recognition, I will feel worthy. When circumstances change, then I will be happy. The mind is always looking over for the next thing that we can acquire, convinced that our fulfillment lives somewhere else. But pause for a moment and ask yourself, what if this moment is more complete than I realize? What if peace is not waiting in the future? What if it's already here beneath all the grasping? Bring your awareness to your breath. Notice how each inhale arrives on its own. Notice how each exhale leaves on its own. Life is already flowing. Nothing is being forced and nothing is being held. Imagine standing beside a clear mountain lake. The surface is perfectly still. The sky reflects upon the water. Now imagine tossing a handful of stories and stones into that lake, and each stone and story creates ripples. Each ripple distorts the reflection. Greed is like throwing stones into the lake of the mind. One more thing, one more achievement, one more possession, one more approval, and the surface becomes restless, and the reflection becomes unclear. Now imagine setting down the stones, not because desire is wrong, but because you no longer wish to disturb your own peace. And feel the lake becoming still once more, clear, open, calm. Breathing in, breathing out. Repeat quietly to yourself, I have enough for this moment. I am enough for this moment. Nothing is missing from this breath. Allow these words to settle deeply. And for a few moments, simply rest in the wealth of enough. The Buddha taught that contentment is a great treasure, not because life is perfect, but because we stop demanding that life be different. Take a final deep breath. Feel gratitude for this moment. Feel gratitude for this body. Feel gratitude for this life exactly as it is. I will share a poem called The Cup Already Full. I wandered through valleys of wanting, searching horizons that moved with each step. I gathered treasures, yet hunger remained. I climbed mountains of achievement, yet the summit whispered, further still. Then one quiet morning, the wind asked a question. What if nothing is missing? The rivers kept flowing, the birds kept singing, the sun rose without permission, and suddenly I saw the cup I carried had never been empty. Only my attention had been elsewhere. And now I sit beneath an ordinary sky, rich beyond measure, not because I possess more, but because I finally notice what has always been here. And so in closing, May we learn the difference between having enough and never feeling enough. May we release the endless reaching that exhausts the heart. May generosity soften our grasping. And may gratitude reveal the abundance already present. Peace before us, peace behind us, peace beside us, peace within us. May all beings be safe. May all beings be peaceful. And may all beings be free. And now, as we close our meditation and we bring our awareness back to wherever we are, we can feel our body, we can move our fingers a little bit or our toes, and we'll gently close our meditation for today. So that's the teaching. So let's go through our days to come, paying more attention of what we do have. You know, I have you, and I'm so grateful, and you are plenty for me. I don't need more. I do not. I'm perfectly happy with you. I will not let society push that on me that I need more. I don't. And I remind myself, because we all do that. So remember that healthy aspirations, there's nothing wrong with it, right? But we let go of that feeling that something is missing, because it isn't. Okay, so I'm happy. I hope you're happy or happier. Okay, so I'll close. Let me get closer to my camera. Thank you for coming. I really appreciate you. If you would like to write and say hi, I would love to read from you. Okay, or if you want to share something. I need to learn more. So if you have something you want to say, teach me, because I'm a beginner. That's one thing I learned years ago. When I started teaching, where I teach now, the owner and I would sit, this is another story, but we'd sit in the office and look at each other and say, we're beginners. And it's true, we will always be beginners. Nobody's an expert or a beginner. If you think you're an expert, then you stop learning, right? So, okay, that's it. I'm a talker. I went to bed at 12:30 last night, and I woke up at 4. It does not matter. Anyway, take care. Have a good day. Have a good life. Have a good week. I'll see you next week. Bye.